Listen guys, distraction is destroying your life. I mean, you're literally throwing away your future. I know you've heard it before that a research was carried out and it was discovered that the average person touches his phone about 2,617 times on a daily basis. But guess what? That was for the average person. I think the average young person doesn't fall into that category. And there's data to prove that every time you're distracted from something due to touching your phone, it takes you about 20 minutes to get back to that mode of concentration. Now that's where the trouble is, because if you're successfully distracted from any task, maybe like reading a book or focusing at work, if that happens 50 times in one day, altogether that means you've lost 8 hours of work in 1 week. You've heard it before that a research was carried out and it was discovered that the average person touches his phone about 2,617 times on a daily basis. But guess what? That was for the average person. I think the average young person doesn't fall into that category. And there's data to prove that the average heavy user, most of whom are young people, touch their phones 5,400 times daily. And that's bad enough. But here's the part a lot of people do not know. Every time you're distracted from something due to touching your phone, it takes you about 20 minutes to get back to that mode of concentration. Now, that's where the trouble is, because if you're successfully distracted from any task, maybe like reading a book or focusing at work, if that happens 50 times in one day, altogether, that means you've lost 8 hours of work in 1 week. 8 hours of work. And also it comes to about 400 hours of work per year. That's about 2 months, close to 2 months of work, 11 weeks, okay? What am I saying 2 months? Close to 3 months of work. Just imagine 3 months out of your year gone due to distraction. And mind you, this is for people who only get interrupted 50 times per day. I'm sure the average person, a heavy user, gets distracted more times. So it's just those little things and the cumulative effect that I'm drawing your attention to. You need to see this as a serious issue as it is. Even now, subconsciously, you're struggling. Your mind is trying to tell you, should I swipe up? Should I move to the next video? Because listen, every time you see a video like this that can change your life, in split seconds, subconsciously, your mind is making a decision. Should I move to something easier? I know you feel caught, but don't worry. That's why you're here. We're going to try to fix that for you. Okay? So the title of the video is How to Rewire Your Brain. And I know that you came into the year 2026 with a lot of, vim, a lot of determination. This is one thing that you must master, because I know some of you, if you're honest enough, this is what happens every day. At the end of the day, you're dissatisfied. I didn't achieve my goals. I said I was going to work and read, and I didn't do much of that. So tomorrow, I'm going to go harder. Then tomorrow comes and you don't do it. And you are dissatisfied, and at the end of the day, you say, why? You beat yourself up about it. Then you say, tomorrow I'm going to go harder. So, but you just can't help it. Every time you're trying to read, then that notification comes up on your phone, and then you just want to check it. Before you know it, you are doom scrolling, and then hours are gone. Okay? This is what a lot of people deal with. And to explain what is happening, your brain has been trained to look for quick, easy ways to be satisfied. All right? You've trained your brain unintentionally so. You see, initially, or what God did by design, was to create this system, this brain response system, as a self-preservation mechanism. Okay, but it has now been abused, and this is what I mean. The dopamine release is God's way of rewarding us for doing meaningful work. It's our brain getting used to rewarding us for doing things that are meaningful. And so when we channel it the right way, that's how we can change our lives and change the world. But you see, The moment we get used to getting satisfaction from things easier and faster, let me use real life examples. So you feel hungry, you go into the kitchen, you prepare a dish, you eat, and you're satisfied. Dopamine is now looking for fast food, easier, quicker ways to get the satisfaction. Okay, that's what dopamine does. And then, contrary to popular opinion, many people think that dopamine is a reward chemical. That would have been better. Dopamine is actually an expectation chemical. So when you're doing something that is supposed to give you a reward, all right, that's when the dopamine spikes. And that's what makes it dangerous, because you're always looking for the next thing that can give you that high. All right, it's an addiction like any other addiction. It's terrible. It has grounded destinies. You need to fight for this, fight for your sanity, like your life depends on it. And the good news is this: if you train your brain to be distracted, you can actually train your brain to be focused. In neuroscience, it's called neuroplasticity. So picture it this way: the brain is like a wet clay. Out of it you form, let's say, a cup, but then you change your mind, you want to form something else. You can roll it back into a ball and form something else. So this is something that you must bear in mind. You have the ability to re-engineer your brain, to teach your brain how to think and how to function, to teach your brain how to stop craving things that can damage your future. And that responsibility is actually right there in your mind. I'll tell you a story, a real life story. I had the opportunity to take my kids to Dubai. And one of the places we visited is called the Museum of the Future. And the Museum of the Future is just like a simulation of what maybe the next 10 years they're about to look like. I mean, the first thing I saw when I got in there, to the left of the building, I think is still there. If you ever get the opportunity to go there, or if you've gone there, there was a coffee shop. All right. But there was nobody attending to the coffee shop. It was a robotic hand serving coffee. So you use your phone, you scan a barcode, you make your order, and then when your order is ready, the robotic hand will come, do the mixing, and serve you your coffee. I was blown away. All right. And then you're just moving into the building. I mean, the building itself looks like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. And then in the building, you have drones moving up and down, and then everything is just robotic. And they also try to simulate, I'm headed somewhere, they also try to simulate the fact that in the future we'll be able to take trips out of space. So they did that, I think, with a lift or something. So as it's going up, there were screens around to show you, it looked like we had gone out of the earth, and then on the screen, on the floor, we could see what the earth would look like underneath us. I'm headed somewhere. We saw a lot of fantastic futuristic things. But then we went to a room, and it was a nature room, something like that. All we saw there was sand. All we saw there was rocks and things like that. And this is what they're trying to tell you. A time is going to come that even if AI and robotics is going to make the world a lot easier, people are going to begin to miss and crave just nature. People are going to need to detox because their minds are going to be so damaged, they will start running back to sanity. See, we're dealing with an all-time high when it comes to depression and all of this. And it can be attributed to one thing. We have learned to use technology as a mode of escape. And I'm saying that intentionally. In psychology, it's actually an escape mechanism. People who are addicted to devices are actually escaping from themselves. There's something uncomfortable about sitting with yourself. So I want to ask you, why are you so uncomfortable with yourself? Why do you not like yourself? Why is it so uncomfortable for you to just sit still? The reason why a lot of people run away from that is because it can trigger an existential crisis. That silence will force them to think deeply about their lives. And if what they're doing is meaningful, and if they're actually applying themselves in the right things and doing the right things in life. So they will do anything else psychologically to escape that. In fact, in one of the research I was looking at for this, to prepare for this video, I think it was Harvard Business School, and somebody was saying how his friend did a research. A lot of people were kept in a room and they had a choice to sit still and do nothing for hours, or to press a button, even if that button was going to cause them great discomfort. They were supposed to, that button was going to electrocute them, not in an extreme way, but it's just going to give them a shock effect. Do you know that some people were putting themselves through that pain? It was easier to just have some form of activity, no matter how painful, than to sit still. And that's how terrible these things have become. All right. And it's important for us to fight this. Fight for your sanity. Fight for your peace of mind. Fight to rewire your brain. Okay. Another good news. There's a part of the brain called the nucleus accumbens. All right. And that's the part of the brain that is responsible for releasing dopamine. And you see, that part of the brain, like I said, can be retrained, all right, to reward only the right things. And then you have a part to play. So now to the part you've been waiting for. How can I rewire my brain? Number one, you need to first and foremost quickly identify the sources of your high stimulation and constant distraction. What are the things that take your time every day? Is it video games? Is it social media, doom scrolling? You know, at some point, I noticed I was getting really addicted to my phone. And honestly, right now, I'm still really, really working on it deliberately, because every one of us will have to draw the line and say, hey, this far and no further. Okay. And when I knew there was a problem was when it got to a point, I deleted all the social media apps on my phone. And then subconsciously, I was still picking my phone to look for it, only to realize, oh, it's deleted. That's when I knew, oh, now this is war. This is war. This thing will not finish my life. You understand what I'm saying? So you must quickly identify it. And then the second thing is start taking breaks. You know, the first person I ever heard say this, I was listening to somebody at a meeting I attended in school, and he said how he taught himself not to get addicted to anything. So he said in those days, when he's playing a video game, he didn't even used to play video games so much, but whenever he was playing, he will pause at intervals and stand up, just walk around, do other things, just to make sure his brain has not gotten comfortable with that frame of mind and that modality of going on and enjoying the dopamine release. You know, so he will just pause with nothing to do. I know some of us will pause when we have to go to the restroom or do something, but he will just artificially pause for no just cause, just to reset his brain. Okay? So you're going to need to take breaks. I've said it time and again, this generation will need not just food fast, but social media fasts. Take 1 day off, 3 days off, 7 days off. Take a walk without any phone device, or go to the gym without a headset. You know, all those little things, all right? You need to revisit the concept of multitasking. It has made it difficult for you to sit and focus on one thing and do deep work. Just introspection. You see, you never can tell if you had more time to sit still and just think about your life, the ideas that will pop up in your mind, how much more productive you'll be on a daily basis. This thing is costing a lot of us money. You're losing money. This is serious. So you will start by taking breaks, and listen, don't fall for the trap of saying, okay, so I'm not going to do social media this year. You know, if you're battling a bit of an addiction, you're going to have to make sure that you start with small measurable improvements. Okay. You know, start with maybe 20 minutes breaks or 30 minutes breaks. Or, you know, let me tell you, depending on how serious it is, I think for every one of us, we're going to just have to reset and say, you know what, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. today, I'm not going to be on my phone. If you need to send an email, find another way. Do you understand? Maybe just on your computer. All right. So for instance, one thing I did recently, and I'm not proposing it for everybody, but these are some of the things that will help you. You have to decide which social media apps should not be on your phone at all. So I've decided, until further notice, that YouTube on my phone is a bad idea. It's a bad idea. For me, it's a bad idea. So it's not going to be on my phone. Part of the things that has caused the spike in addiction is the fact that we moved from having to sit in front of the TV to see what's happening to having mobile TVs carried around. And even in those days, TV watching was an addiction. So imagine having mobile TVs, all right? So that leads me to the next point. And the next point is just an advice. And that's this: design will always beat willpower, all right? And that's what I'm saying. It is one thing to say, okay, I'm going to start my social media detox and go hours without social media, all right? But it's a totally different thing if you have not created an environment that can enable that new decision in your life. That's why some of you will need to delete the apps. Before you say, I'm going to exercise the discipline of not going on social media, delete it. Delete it. Make it more difficult to access. All right, make it more difficult to access. Have some ground rules. You know, I was listening to someone who said a lot of helpful things. Number one, when I'm eating, no social media. Just imagine you did that. Okay, because I'm having lunch with my family, I'm not going to do social media. Now, he said, all right, this particular point, I have not started doing it. And the reason I'm saying that is because eating is one of the few times I catch a break because of my line of work. And sometimes I want to go online and see, you know, some things that I might have missed. But when you're eating with people, you know, these things have affected dates. You go out with your spouse and you can't even connect. All right. So I propose that's a good idea. What if you decided not to bring your phone into your bedroom at night? Keep it somewhere else. Have your sleep. Sleep well. Sleep deep. Wake up. Use your wristwatch or an alarm clock for time, because those are the things that now spiral into, you know, you pick up your phone to look at the time and then you start doom scrolling again. All right, so go back to using a wristwatch, using a clock and all of that. Buy an alarm clock. All right, so don't put it in your phone. Don't put it in your workspace. There should be a part of your house where no phone should enter. Do you understand? When you're going to work, keep your phone out of it. Just create a design, something that will work for you. All right, and then revisit this regularly. If you fail, come back to this video, watch it again, start again, remind yourself why it's important. And I just want to say this, it's not even part of what I wanted to say, and it might require another video of its own. Please don't allow your children, your toddlers, get stung with this bug. Even you as an adult, you're struggling to cope with it. Imagine your toddler. I mean, you've seen videos online of toddlers having their iPad taken from them. First and foremost, your toddlers have no reason to be owners of iPad or to even have access to one. I think it's a bad idea. My wife and I decided if my children are going to watch YouTube, it's going to be on the TV. We made that decision, okay? Because I mean, for many other reasons, it's even easier to monitor. If you're going to watch it on a device that we can all see what you're watching, okay? And so many other things. You've seen the videos of people taking a tablet from their toddlers and the toddlers start throwing a tantrum. It's a sickness. And you're going to have to start now. Start repairing your brain, bringing your sanity. Some of you would experience more peace, more tranquility, and it will even reduce depression in your life. Just this hack. It will increase your productivity for 2026. Don't just pray for more productivity, plan for it. And I think this is one way to start. God bless you. My name is Emmanuel Laurent. If you're here for the first time, please, before you leave, click the subscribe button, all right, and leave a comment. How has your experience been? What did you do, all right, to help your social media addiction? I mean, what areas are you struggling? Maybe someone else might learn from that, okay? And don't forget to like this video so that the YouTube algorithm will show even more people, and I will see you around soon. God bless you.